And now I'm here with the great Kelly Nicholson, who I've actually known for over 8 years now.
Isn't that insane? It's gone by so fast. Here's to another 8, darling.
But that's it.
That's it, we're capping it at 8.
16, I've got shit to do. Okay, so what shows have we done together? So we were both in we're in Gypsy together.
We were in Romeo and Juliet together.
Yep. You skipped Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, yep, Jesus Christ Superstar.
I'll never forgive you. And then a huge 5-year gap.
Yeah.
Until we did Tales from the Metropolis together. Who directed that? Oh, the cameraman.
Yeah, no. Oh, what was his name?
You already mentioned him in the last video. It's Jared Sleeman.
Me?
I want to say Tim.
I too want to say Tim, but we're going to say Jared
Yeah,
Sleeman.
we have to say Jared.
But sir, I'm just a camera.
Cameras can direct.
Yeah.
It's 2021.
Exactly right. Don't exclude anyone.
But yeah, and also, as you said, you directed The Mug in a Milk Carton, starring me, which is my first ever short film.
It was so good. I really enjoyed doing that, and I think it's honestly one of the things that I'm still the most proud of. I think that it was, just one of the most kind of true to myself kind of projects. Like, I think that something that I really want to explore more, and just a really enjoyable film that still, gets me right in the feels when I watch it. Mostly because you and Anna just were fantastic in it, and it was good.
Oh, you were a fantastic director.
Thank you.
And I would love to work with you again. I'm offended that you haven't asked me to come back for anything.
Because I do so few projects. Like, I literally do like 1 film a year, and that's so not enough. And I really.
And then it's just women in it.
If I get on that, yeah. Well.
When's it gonna be Haysphere?
Haysphere.
Oh, that's right, the 1600s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who actually watched it and said that she legit cried.
Aww.
At the part when she's on the train and I'm just there looking sad.
Oh, it was.
So yeah, you made someone cry.
Good.
I
Not
hope
just
you're
me.
proud of
Good. Finally. This is like every time I watched it, I was just like, oh god, I'm getting myself. And I was like, it's such a tricky thing because you feel it because you write the thing and it's so close to you, and you just hope that people just watching it can feel even like a little bit of what you're hoping.
Was that your first short film? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that was my second, I think. So
I'm glad it was only second. You didn't go it was actually my 8th, Dylan.
No,
you fucking idiot.
My very first one was called Mosby, and it was.
Oh, was that before? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was the very first one. It was about. So again, going into the sort of like darker side of people and personalities, but with a bit of humor in there. It's basically about a guy who just hadn't really found any fulfillment in his life, and he hadn't found the career that really sparked joy in him, and he tried so many things, and he thought, what, I haven't tried being a serial killer, like maybe that's it, maybe that's the one. And
so when I asked you what art form have you not tried yet, you should have gone like serial killer. Did you watch Mosby?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Well, his best friend is a teddy bear named Mosby.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need a teddy bear best friend to motivate me to find.
I'm surprised you don't have one already.
Well, actually, technically, I do have a teddy bear because the lead actor in that film was Joey Wilson. He actually got me that teddy bear that was in the film for my birthday, and he wrote a letter signed Mosby the bear. And so I was like, I want to write this film. And
so before the short film.
Yeah, so he gave me the bear before the short film existed. And so I wrote the short film with Joey in mind for the character. And when I wrote that he had a best friend that was like an inanimate object, I was like, well, of course it's Mosby the bear. And David Rule was also in that film, who played an innocent victim. I won't give away the ending.
Link
yeah.
here to find out the ending.
Yeah. But yeah, so that
By
was the
here,
first
I mean
thing.
the description.
Yeah. So that was the first thing I ever made. Like, definitely, like everything I've made, there's always problems. That's the beauty of wearing all the hats and trying to do everything yourself.
Especially for your first one.
Yeah, especially for my first one. But I'm really happy with how it went. Like, considering that it was the very first thing I'd really, tried to make, and that I'd done myself from like beginning to end. And the thing that I'm most happy with all of my projects is I think they have a lot of potential. Like, the potential's there. I'm getting out the ideas that I'm interested in, and I'm working with the people that I want to work with. And I'm, even though I've improved since then, and they were years ago, I can still look back at them and be, really pleased with how they are and what they are.
Yep. And so that one had dialogue, obviously, but Mug and a Milk Carton had minimal dialogue except for that one scene. I had one line.
Yeah, you did.
Can I show you something?
It's so funny. And you being such a person who loves to count lines, and it was such a funny thing to do to you, to give you one. I don't know. I think that because I don't really have like training to write, I just really enjoy doing it. I definitely am like a trial kind of person. It's definitely a bit hit and miss. But for the majority of the things that I do, like, the stories just go in a particular direction, whether that's a good one or a bad one, we find out eventually. But for that story, it just made sense to me that they just didn't talk, that, that they were people that really struggled with communication, and that's why they, felt lonely in their lives and didn't have connections already, because, they struggled to find love and to find, like-minded people. So it just made sense that the majority of it was, non-verbal, and that these people who were so out of practice for, just even holding a conversation with someone, that they can find that, understanding within each other and develop a relationship in such a short amount of time that is like, a really good kind of relationship that can spark, the will to keep trying and to, try to form more relationships from that point. So it's like, very non-verbal, a lot of expressions, and really mainly communicated through the actors' physicality and expression. So getting to work with yourself and Anna, who just, gave me everything that I, could ask for. You barely even needed direction. You were just absolutely perfect for the roles. I couldn't have asked for a better cast, and I feel like that story and those relationships just worked out really, really well in that story. And I think that's why it's my favorite one still, years later. It's still my favorite project I've ever done, because it's just so powerful, even though there's no dialogue to cling to. The story is just you guys and how you interact with each other and your environment and the props that you have. Yeah.
Which were the Mug and the Milk Carton.
Where they were. That's exactly right. Like the title.
So you have your own YouTube channel where all your short films are, yeah?
I do. So I'm
I'll just link the channel, not the specific video of Mosby.
Yeah.
But is Mosby on there?
I think Mosby's on there. It needs an update, honestly. Okay. This will be a motivator for me to do that. Yeah.
That's what it's all for.
So Mosby was the first one. Then there was the Mug and Milk Carton.
They all begin with M so far.
They do. This one breaks the mold, but there is an M in it. So the third one was Bathroom, which is another
It ends with an M.
It ends with an M, which is another story about relationships and, about a person in a particular moment in their life that was a little bit, a bit of a struggle. It's just about a guy sitting in a bathroom, in a bathtub eating crackers, just needing to pause their life because they're, it just keeps going, and sometimes it feels unrelenting, and, sometimes it just feels impossible to go on. And then, the housemates he lives with come in and comfort him, because, sometimes when you feel like that, it is good to just take a moment and reassess. But the relationships we have with our close friends and our family really can be one of the most powerful things. So that's what that is about. The one after that
Girl Talk?
was Girl Talk. Totally different. I went in a weird direction. This is where more of the dark comedy side kind of comes from. Because with Mosby, that was, you know, dark comedy about a serial killer. And then from then on, it took more of a dramatic route. And then Girl Talk is a comedy, you know, with two girls. One is, she just wakes up in a garage in a serial killer environment. Talk a lot about serial killers for some reason. I find that interesting. Yeah, she wakes up in this garage and then she realizes this voice on the other end of an intercom is a girl she went to high school with. And then they have this awkward moment of like, oh, we know each other. What have you been doing? And yeah, just having this kind of interesting conversation between like a serial killer and a victim that actually know each other and went to school together. And all the kind of funny things that go along with that kind of thing. So there was that film. After that was The Bridge, which was another kind of mostly drama, basically just about a man who is sitting on a bridge and he's having a conversation with death, because he's basically, you know, at a point in his life where he's just doesn't really know what else he has to give, and then death just kind of has a conversation with him and then just tries to help him understand that there is more.
And they knew each other in high school, and it's really
They knew each other in high school, exactly right. Comedy ensues, of course.
Then he kills himself.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that...
He doesn't. Spoiler alert.
No. I'm really hoping that The Bridge is something that I'll be able to like explore in a longer form. I think that the concept of that is interesting, and I would like to try and develop that into maybe like a series as well. So there was that one, and the most recent one that I've done was Connected, which I made for a isolation festival. So I wore all the hats for this one. So I wrote it and I shot it and I acted in it, because the criteria was, you know, it's an isolation festival. I lived in an apartment by myself, and I wanted to sort of have a go and see what I could make in a really short amount of time by myself. And that was such an interesting task, because, you know, trying to frame yourself in a camera is really interesting when it doesn't have a retractable screen.
Oh,
yes, it was. No, it
then.
Didn't. Thank God for apps and, you know, things you can connect. They lag and they're tricky, but it made it, you know, doable. And yeah, this was kind of my adventure into a little bit more of a little bit more horror, but a little bit more science fiction kind of vibe, which was really fun and definitely something I want to explore more. And this film is another one that I think I would really like to play around with a longer form, so possibly like a feature film for that particular concept. So those kind of things are in the works at the moment too.
And that's all your short films? Because I can think of two.
Those
that
are
you haven't listed.
all my like self-devised kind of works. I have worked on other things with a lot of other people. Like those are kind of collaborative things.
That's true. Yeah. But I can still think of one that you did by yourself.
That I did by myself.
Yeah, it starred a certain actress who I don't believe has been in anything before or since. But she was in this video. She's very hairy. Furry, I should say.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So I just made another like little at-home video with my cat, who I love to bits. And I thought, you know what? Let's make a little horror film. Funnily enough, I didn't actually anticipate, I didn't intend for her to be in the film. I was just testing out a scene for the Connected film.
Okay.
I was just seeing how that would kind of play out. And then this cat just walks into the shot and just starts doing these really weird things. So what I was doing, I was shooting a scene of my television playing a static video, and I was like on the ground, had my camera propped up against me, so I was like holding onto it. And then this cat just walks into frame, jumps on the TV unit and starts interacting with the TV. And she's never done that before. She doesn't sit on the TV unit. And so I was filming on the ground, shaking because I was laughing. And I was like, well, now we have to make a film with the cat. But yeah, this is a really, really cute Poltergeist-inspired short with my cat, whose name is Mouse, and she's fabulous.
Is there anything you filmed that hasn't been released yet?
Yeah, so we have this comedy film.
Anything you wrote for someone in this room?
We have this comedy film that Jared originally wrote, and we...
Yeah, sorry, you wrote it.
Yeah, I did a little bit of script
That's
editing.
right.
Yeah,
we passed the script back and forth a couple of times,
Yeah.
but I did the initial.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I forgot about
Well, funnily enough, so it was originally called Homeless Jesus. Jared and I had wanted to
Jesus
do...
of Suburbia was the original.
Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Jesus of Suburbia, and then it became Homeless Jesus, and then I decided to retitle it Holier Than Thou. I just thought it was hilarious.
And yet, people only ever refer to it as Homeless
exactly
Jesus.
Right. It's Homeless Jesus' movie. But basically, Jared and I came up with, we wanted to do an exercise together. Basically, we had to write the other one a script, and then we had to hand the script over and make something.
Nearly 4 years ago.
So
Are you
long
kidding?
ago. How
4
crazy
years
is
ago
that?
next month.
Oh, so weird.
I hope it, hang on, let me think. I hope it wasn't 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago next month, sorry.
That's still too much.
Yeah.
For something that isn't out yet, that's still too much.
It's just the part. It's
I had to go filming the one Kelly wrote.
He never planned to do it. We basically tried to give each other the worst script ever. Like we tried
yours was like a joke script.
It was.
It's actually just Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau was, so it was like an investigative piece. And it was about a gumshoe who was trying to solve a murder, and then at the end, Tommy Wiseau is the killer. So I just thought it was the best, and I just basically wanted the reaction that I got from literally everyone who read it. So when someone read it, I asked to watch them read it, and I filmed some people reading it, and it was the greatest.
I wish you got his, because like I think you read ahead of me because we were reading it together, and Adam, I just hear, "Oh, fuck off, Kelly," something like that.
Yeah, I just thought it was the best. But I really wanted to do this, like, you know, detective noir script. I thought that would be really fun, and then at the end I just decided to be a little bit naughty and make Tommy Wiseau the maker.
We should dig that out at some point and like
We
actually
should.
do it.
I would love to reread it. It's been so long.
I'd love to see Holier Than Thou, because you finished filming it.
We did. We finished filming it. So basically, we'd handed scripts over. Jared actually was very hesitant to give it to me because he tried to give me a joke script, but turned out to love the movie, which is such a great thing to happen. But we're like, well, let's, collaborate on this movie. And so we talked to some of our actor friends who also dabble in a bit of filmmaking as well. So Sam Lovell, Bryson Grenfell, and Luke maher-pomplun. And we asked if they would, work in this film with us. Of course, Jared had to be Jesus.
Of course.
There was no other way.
I wasn't first choice.
You weren't first choice, but I think at some point you were like, it'd be nice to be Jesus. And I was like, I would happily have you be Homeless Jesus. But basically the concept of the film is that three boys who are definitely in their 20s, but act like teenagers or even younger, just hanging out in their garage. They act like little kids. But
they play Russian roulette.
I know, but their
normal
demeanor,
kids, teenagers.
their demeanor, their children.
My idea was the Stranger Things kids, but they never grow up.
But you know what's hilarious? Because
I took that a dark way.
You thought that when you were writing it, and when I read it, I pictured them as well. Like, I think that was so great, and I think from then we were like, this is going to be good. Like, we just had the same idea. But yeah, there's three boys that are hanging out, just chilling out. Funnily enough, the activity is Russian roulette, just cause. And then they go home, they go their separate ways. One of them stumbles across a man in the woods who claims to be Jesus. And then a couple of mishaps occur, and they basically put him through these tests to figure out if he's telling the truth or if he's just a random homeless guy that's claiming to be Jesus. So it's a comedy. It's definitely like a kind of surreal kind of comedy. Definitely a different style of humor than I'm used to doing. But it was really, really fun. Of course, when it comes to like collaboration, people have jobs, there's no money involved, things take time. So it was one of those projects where scheduling was tricky. It was a slightly longer kind of film, so we had to do it over a couple of days, and unfortunately that just sort of gets separated over time. We finally did finish shooting it late last year. But yeah, we finally finished it, and now it's a lot of it is edited. It's just kind of finalizing that. But you know, obviously at this point, a lot of people have kind of moved on to some other projects. Yeah. Sam is the one who has made it and has been editing it. Yeah, I'm really interested to see it finished, and I think that would be fun.
Me too, because I saw the first scene, and that looked great.
I'm very happy with it. I think it was really, really cool. Oh, you know, I totally forgot. Stephen Wales was our cinematographer for a lot of it. So I did a couple of scenes when Stephen wasn't available, but he was our main cinematographer as well.
And yeah, now that you've moved an hour and a half away from the area, I can't imagine you'll be sticking to theatre that much longer, around here anyway.
Yeah, my goal is, I love theatre, and when productions that I'm really interested in come up, I probably will still do it. I do want to do a musical pretty badly. But yeah, so basically the whole idea for the move was that I wanted a little bit more space and opportunity to focus more on creative things. You know, it's a little bit less expensive than trying to live, you know, around here. And so it just means that I can, you know, work a little bit less in, you know, my current employment, and then work a little bit more in the creative business. So Life is Productions, like offering the headshots, offering showreels, offering event coverage, and theatre production services and things. And I would like to migrate a little bit more into film too, so maybe do like film behind the scenes, or, you know, video clips of things. But it basically just gives me more opportunity to work on those kind of projects, and then have the time to work on the unpaid things. So work on the script writing, make films, and just keep, you know, being creative, and hopefully putting out more than one film a year. The goal is to do way more, and to collaborate more too. You know, if I have friends that want to do their own projects, like I want to be able to help in whatever capacity I can. And having time to do that is kind of what I've needed for quite a while. So yeah, I think that I'll still be working a lot in Wollongong. Hopefully I can expand it too and do some more stuff in the Southern Highlands, which is where I've moved to. So many beautiful locations as well. So I'm really hoping that those amazing locations will be put into the new projects, and hopefully there'll just be way more content for me to show.
Oh, please do.
We've really got to film something soon.
I would love to.
Yeah, please put me in something.
I'd love to do that.
We miss you. Come back.
I'm still
She's
so
here. She's here
I'm
right
here
now.
all the time.
I've seen you twice since you moved like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've said to everyone. I was like, you're literally going to see me the same amount of time. Potentially even more, because I'll be lonely. I adore the Dyer, and I love, you know, what they stand for, and I love, you know, the idea of original theatre, and, you know, the concept of like bringing a character completely to life from nothing. Is really freaking awesome. And everything that I've seen from them is brilliant.
How big is it?
It's not how big it is, it's how you use it, my dear.
No, my question was, how big is it? So actually, it is how big is it?
It is how big is it? Oh, I mean, if we want to match my ego, I guess it'd be massive.
So you've done one show in Sydney, one theatre show in Sydney, and all the rest were Wollongong? / Shell Harbour?
Yeah, I did a horror show, like an interactive horror show.
Yes, that was professional too, wasn't it? Let's talk about that. Like, I don't even think.
This is the first time hearing about it.
This is where she pulled a Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, this is where my hand injury came from.
I thought you meant she was only dating young models.
That's got nothing to do with just this production.
You messed up your little handy hand?
I did mess up my little handy hand. This is why I can't wear rings on this finger, because it's so chunky.
Oh, if I had a ring, I'd put it on there right now.
And if you like it, then you put a ring, and then you get stuck, and you're like, oh. But yeah, that's why I'm such a, I'm all about like safety during productions now, and just really thinking ahead. And that's kind of, it's one of those things where it's you got to really look after yourself and look after the people around you. But basically, it was like this interactive horror show that was in Sydney, and it was really fun. Like, I got to play, funnily enough, I'm really tall, but I played a child. And basically I was a ghost, and all the guests were attending my birthday party. And I was like drenched in blood, and there was a birthday cake, and I was like cutting the cake. My scene only lasted like 5 minutes, and then, you know, it was like, oh, we're on a circuit, like a rotation, so we had our audience for our scene, and then they move off to the next station and interact with the next actor, and then you'd get a new group. So basically the whole show was you enter this park at night, the tour guide takes you to these different stations, you have to go to a shop to buy my birthday present, and then you get to come to my birthday. And it was really quite fun. Like it was my first like horror character, which was really interesting. I really enjoyed doing it. And yeah, it was my first, I'm pretty sure it was my first like professional paid acting role. And it was a season for a couple of weeks of an evening. And yeah, it was really cool. Like I definitely think I would like to explore like horror characters a lot more. I definitely prefer more like full-length plays, and getting to like explore a character through a whole, you know, play.
Yeah,
like
the same.
Yeah, but it was a cool experience, and it was definitely like it offered a lot of cool stories to tell. So yeah.
And the incident was?
The incident was, I was given a prop that wasn't safe. Like it was a knife that hadn't been blunted correctly. And being like a very inexperienced actor, like I was only, I can't really remember, maybe like 20 or 21. And so I'd only really been acting.
Was it before or after Jurassic?
Oh, it was right after Jurassic.
Okay, you would have been 20.
Yeah, 20. So it was right after Jurassic. So I'd done a couple of shows by that point. I hadn't really done a lot of film. And, you know, as we are, you know, so excited to do projects and, you know, so excited to work. Yeah, so, you know, as a young actor trying to break into an industry that we, you know, want to work in, you can get really excited and you can get ahead of yourself, and your judgment isn't the greatest because you want to trust and you want to be a part of things. And because it was my first professional production, you know, you just think that, you know, all the thought has been put into it, that any safety concerns would have been addressed, because they're, you know, they're professional, they've done things before. It's a company that had done a couple of shows previously already. And so I was coming into it as a new performer, and during my scene I did end up injuring myself, and did require a couple of stitches in there. Luckily I did not want to be a professional guitarist. That's off the table now. But that's okay. I basically, you know, am using this as a lesson of look out for yourself, because unfortunately that kind of stuff can slip under the radar. It doesn't matter the size of production, you know, there should always be thoughts and concerns when considering things like safety and the well-being of literally anyone that's on set or anyone that's on stage, no matter what your role is. And it, you know, it's something that I share with other actors, particularly ones that are just starting out, just to sort of say, like, you know, no one is going to look after yourself as well as you are. And if you do have concerns, like, you just have to speak up. Like, I definitely had concerns when I first received the prop, but at the time I was just thinking, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately after that incident is when I stepped in and said, I'm going to provide my own prop. And I got my, you know, wonderful friend who is a filmmaker as well. His name's Troy Bruff. Fantastic filmmaker, loves horror and gore and has all the props to back up that genre that he adores. And so easily borrowed a prop from him and used that for the rest of the season. Sometimes, unfortunately, you just have to walk away from projects or from collaborators if they don't have that thought in mind and don't have what's best for you and the project at heart.
Well, I learned something from that.
Good job.
It's pronounced Troy Bruff.
Bruff, yeah.
I thought it was like bro or bro.
Troy Rusty.
Yeah, it goes by Troy Rusty, so I never think
For the
about
longest time.
his
I was
last
like,
name being bro or bruff.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we outie, kids.
Look at the camera and tell us 50 reasons why we should let you go. But you only have 10 seconds.
I need to know.
Main reason number one is you want to go home. Do we really need more
I'll
than
cut
that?
the camera now.
you, Dylan.
Thank you for being here and for organising the theatre for us.
Yeah,
and thanks to Wollongong Workshop Theatre for letting us use the space.
Thank you.
It'll be in the credits. What am I saying it out loud for?
It's been fun. Thanks, guys.
Any last words, Kelly? While you're out of focus?
Well, I've really liked hanging out with you.
You're just a
I hope you
blur.
have a good day.
You're like a metaphor for depression in a psychological movie.
You look
Well,
like
that's
a clown.
all me. I love it. Oh, look, what?
You look like a clown. Can you say a Joker line for us?
A Joker line. I don't know. I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
Just say, I'm the Joker, baby.
No, because in my brain I do the Harley Quinn accent, which is
That's
hilarious.
okay.
What is it?
I'm the Joker, baby.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Follow.
That's your Harley Quinn? Oh, Bryce.